Hello and welcome to yet another Chinese puzzle. This one rated 6 stars. Target solution time is 33 minutes, according to the photocopy I have here. These puzzles never take that long, at least not for me, because I'm used to solving them. But I like these puzzles because they usually have a very nice solution path. Well, we are looking at the 3 blocking over here and the 3 blocking here and the 3 blocking here. So this is a 3. So we got our first digit. Now on to the rest. I see the 4 blocking here and the 4 blocking down here. So one of these is a 4. This pattern is very common in these puzzles, I've noticed. The same goes for the 8 blocking down here and the 8 blocking over here. So one of these is an 8. And that actually gives us the first pair, namely a 4 and an 8 here, because 4 and 8 block across here and down here. So these two squares must be 4 and an 8. I can see that a 5 must go in one of these two squares. And here's another naked single, namely a 6 blocking here, 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 and here. And therefore, this is a 6. And now we just found out that these have to be a 4 and an 8, didn't we? Now we got two 6s blocking here, here, and here. So this being a 4 or an 8 leaves only this square for a 6 in this box number 8. I see the 2 and the 7 blocking here, and I see the 2 and the 7 blocking here, and that tells me that these two cells must be a 2 and a 7 pair. We have a 2 blocking up here and a 2 blocking across here. That makes this a 2. And yes, we have a couple of 2s and 5s here and here. And that makes these two squares a 2 and a 5, doesn't it? And one more observation. These two 8s block here, here, and here. And we know that these have to be a 4 and an 8 pair. So these are also blocked by an 8. And that puts an 8 here. 1, 4, 6, and an 8 for these 4 squares in the bottom row. There's a 1 and a 4 here. So this has got to be a 6 or a 9. But I believe I have found another 1. Because as I mentioned, these two have to be a 2 and a 5. We got a 1 blocking over here. So a 1 will go here or here, therefore blocking these squares. This one blocks over here. This one blocks up here, so this is a 1. And believe it or not, with this little information, we find a 9. Look at these 4 empty squares. We know that these have to be 2 and a 5, therefore they can't be a 9. Now look at the 9 over here, blocking. So one of these must be a 9. And therefore, this square cannot be a 9 either. So this square can't be a 9, this square can't be a 9. The 9 here blocks this square, therefore this must be a 9. So now a 4 must go here or here. And the two others have to be a 2 and a 5. I'm looking at the 5s because we have a 5 blocking here and here. These are blocked by 2s and 7s. So one of these must be a 5. And while that doesn't really find me any 5 right now, I'm now looking at the 5 and the 3 combo up here, blocking these, and the 5 and the 3 combo here, blocking these. So we are limiting the 5s and the 3s in this block here to these 3 squares. So I've been trying to figure out if I can limit them any further. but it really doesn't look as if I can. But it's something to keep in mind, I think. We need a 1, 4, 6, and a 9 for the bottom row. There's a 1 and a 6 and a 9 blocking this square. So this must be a 4. And now we just need to find a 1, 6, and a 9. We have a 9 here, and we know that one of these is a 9. So we got a 6 coming down. We have got a 6 blocking here, right? So this is a 1 or a 9. This is a 1 or a 6. And this is a 6 or a 9. But now we have successfully found another 4, namely the 4 that goes here. Remember how this is a 2 or a 5? Now this 4 blocks this cell, therefore this must be a 4. And that makes this a 4 I said. And we got 2 1s blocking up here, and therefore this is a 1. Finally, a little progress. So now this is also a 2 or a 5, along with this square here. One of these two squares must be a 9. Remember how one of these is a 9? It blocks up here, therefore one of these is a 9, and therefore these squares are all blocked from being 9s. So a 9 must go here or here. The two other squares have to be a 2 and a 5. Oh, those 2s and 5s. And I don't know how to place them yet. So these being a 4 and an 8, for these squares here, we therefore need a 2, 5, 6, and a 7. I don't seem able to place any more digits at this time in this row number 8. But we did find the 4 here, and that blocks up here. We got 2 4s blocking over here, so this corner cell has escaped me so far, but I got it now. This is a 4. Now one of these is a 4. And remember how we had limited the 5 and the 3s to these squares here? Now they are further limited. The 5 and the 3s cannot go here, and the 3 and the ghost 5 here block here. So these two squares must be a 5 and a 3. So armed with that knowledge, we know that the 4 other cells here must be a 1, 7, 8, and a 9. There's a 1 and an 8 and a 7 looking at this square. Therefore, it must be a 9. And these squares have to be a 1, 7, and an 8. And if they are 1, 7, 8, these two must be a 2 and a 9. Can we use that for anything? Yes. There's a ghost 9 coming up blocking here. So this must be the 2 and this must be the 9. I think this is turning out to be what I would normally call an expert puzzle. But it has a very nice flowing logic. I think this 2 is important because it blocks down here. So one of these squares must be a 2. We also have a 2 here. So one of these squares must be a 2. And we know that these are 2s and 7s. So this now becomes a 7, and this must be the 2. And remember how we needed a 7 for one of these 3 squares? We got this 7 and this 7 now. So the 7 must go here. And the 8 blocks up here, making this an 8. The last digit is a 1, and that gives us a 1 here. Also very important, I think, because now we are reduced to finding a 6 and a 5 for these two squares. And there's a 5 in the row, making this a 6 and this a 5. This is actually quite nice. The two 5s block over here, making this a 5. And one of these must be a 9. And now with the 5 blocking up here, we know that one of these must be a 5. So the other digit here is going to be a 5. So we got a 5-9 pair, and that leaves only one square to be filled, and that has got to be a 2. It must go here. These two squares must be a 7 and a 9. These are 4 and 8. Therefore, this has got to be a 1. So 4 and 8 here. What is missing over here? A 6. And that makes this square a 9. We know that these are blocked by 5s and 9s. Now we've got a 6 blocking up here, and that makes this an automatic 6. These two 6s block over here. We've got a 6 blocking up from the bottom row here, so this is a 6. One square missing up here, and that looks to be a 7. And that makes this a 7. So a 3 and a 5 here. 5 and 9 here. 2 and 7 here, if I'm not mistaken. But while I'm thinking about that, why not just fill in the blank here? It's got to be a 4. These two are still a 3 and a 5. We will have them sorted in due course, I'm sure. We have a 2, 5 here and a 2, 5 here, didn't we? We have a 2 now in this column, making this a 5 and this a 2. And did the 5 give me anything here? Yes, it got me the 3 here and the 5 here and the 5 here and the 3 here, like so. What else can we do? We can do this. It's got to be an 8. The last digit missing in the column. These two now have to be a 2 and a 3. We got a 3 in the row. So this is a 2 and this is a 3. 2 blocks over here. We know that these are 5s and 9s. Therefore, this must be a 2 and this has got to be a 7. Can we do anything up here with the missing 1, 8 and a 9? Yes, we got a 1 and an 8 in the column. Therefore, this is a 9. And remember how we need a 9 and a 7 for these two squares? The 9 now blocks down here, making it this a 7 and this a 9. So we got a couple of 7s blocking here, and we got the 7 blocking across. So this is a 7. These are still 4s and 8s, and they have been for quite some time. This is a 1 and 8. But look here, we got a 1 crossing over here, and we got 1 coming from down here. So this is a 1, making this a 1, and this an 8. And therefore, this is an 8, finally making this a 4. And that puts a 4 in this square. Still a 5 and a 9. These have to be a 5 and a 9 as well. Got a 5 in the column. So therefore, this is a 9. This is a 5, 5, and a 9. This was a very satisfying puzzle, I think, with a very neat logic that enabled us to solve it from start to finish in a pretty short time, certainly much faster than the designated 33 minutes that they allowed for it to be solved. I hope you enjoyed it, and I thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.